Who's your companion here?
This is my son, Jason Corgan.
Hi, I'm Jason.
Billy, is that what you're wearing on stage tonight? The Lucha Libre?
That's my underwear. I wear Lucha Libre underwear.
So, wow, where do I begin with Billy Corgan? Sunset Strip Music Festival. Tell us about how you approached it and your reaction to playing this event.
You know, they came and said, they're closing on the Sunset Strip. Have you heard about this? And I said, no, not really. So they're actually allowed to do that? Like, that's pretty crazy, you know? Because I live here part-time and I know that, you know, that's not a street that's easy to close down. They could have picked a lot of other streets. So it's like, wow, okay. And they said, you know, Slash's going to play. And I was like, oh, man, that's awesome. Okay, totally.
Yeah. What are your memories of the Sunset Strip? Maybe before you were even a musician, just coming to watch shows? Were you ever out here early on in your career?
Well, I actually came here in 1989 on vacation. And I remember driving down here and being like, oh my God, there's the whiskey. Like, you know, it's like, for a musician, this strip is like, you know, the mecca of so many things, not just, you know, most people associate it with GNR and, you know, that whole period, but I mean, going back to the Doors and the Electric Prunes and Love, and you know, I'm very aware of that history. So, you know, for me, it's like even playing anywhere on the street is like a sort of a holy moment for a musician. So, I was thinking about it this morning. The first time we played down here was, I think, 1991 or 92. We played the Whiskey with Hole was the opener. I remember Courtney was pissed at me something, so that's all I remember about the show.
Her pissed? Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that.
I actually saw you guys earlier in the year right here on the stage.
Very good, yeah, it went very well.
That was a very cool show. Now, was that the first, one of the early shows you did with the recent members?
Yeah, right. Which version of which member? Yeah, this show here at the Viper Room was the first show with what is now the current lineup of the band, and the reaction to the new lineup was amazing, like right off the bat, and it's been consistent everywhere we've gone in the world. It's been really nice because, you know, intellectually a lot of people have resistance to the idea, oh, it's not the original members, but when people see this band and they feel the unity that we do have, it's not some rent-a-band type of thing, you know, we're real musicians, we play together, we eat together. It's really translating well, so I'm really pleased and proud of them, that, you know, because it's not an easy thing to take on.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that was the first time you guys played live. You were so tight. Just the overall chemistry with the band was right there.
It's weird, we just have that natural chemistry, so, you know, it's not something you can manufacture, you know, you just either have it or you don't.
And tell us about your process, Billy Corgan, of gathering those musicians for the event.
Well, Jeff had been with the previous incarnation, 2007, 2008, but he was back teaching. He actually teaches. That's what he really does. You know, music is his passion, but I mean, he's, you know, basically a teacher. So I had to get him back out of teaching.
Yeah.
Mike I found on the internet. He was working at McDonald's.
Was it a YouTube? Or?
Well, he submitted, as I sort of put an open call out there, and all these people submitted YouTube clips of them playing to different songs.
Well, you know, when Billy Corgan puts out an open call, and I say Billy Corgan at AOL, send your tapes. Did you identify?
Loserwithnoband.com, yeah.
Did you identify yourself though, or did people know what they were applying for?
Oh yeah, no, we put out a whole press release saying it. If you want to be the drummer for the Smashing Pumpkins, we think we got over 1,000 submissions from all over the world, which is crazy because I mean, try sitting through 1,000 drummers.
Oh.
I can barely deal with two.
Right.
So,
did you have any help with that?
Yeah, actually, some people helped me whittle that down because it was just like, whoa, that's just overwhelming.
Sure.
And then Nicole actually met at a benefit last year for a good friend of ours who lives in Los Angeles. Laura Masseur had been injured in an accident, and she was playing in the band just before me. And I remember seeing her on stage thinking, wow, she's so good. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't anything to do with hot girl. It was like, wow, what a great musician. And that's really proven to be the case. And she's a beautiful person, inside and out. So we're blessed to have her. And
you, Billy Corgan, as an artist in the Smashing Pumpkins, you've always been kind of on the cutting edge of doing things differently, being creative.
That's a nice way to put it.
Well, and one of the biggest things is how you're releasing the latest collection of music. Your Garden Like My Own. So explain how this is all going on.
I sort of declared I was going to put the new Smashing Pumpkins album out for free, one song at a time. So we're 5 songs in. Freak, the current song, was the last song put out. So that's 5. We got 39 to go. 39
it's 44 songs total.
Yeah.
And it's over 11 albums? Or they're EPs?
11 EPs. So every time we finish the fourth song of the next group, then we put out a physical EP. I think the next edition is going to be, we were talking about the number, I think it's going to be 13,333 we'll make. And last time we put out 10,000 of the box, first EP, and it blew out the first day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's such the way that music is right now in society, where people are getting stuff for free, and there's just so many different outlets for people. What was the inspiration to just wake up one morning and go, oh my God, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do a series of EPs with a song?
Well, I was with the major label system for, practically 20 years. And I would go out of my way to say that, there were different people who tried to destroy my musical career because they just, it didn't agree with whatever the way they saw the music world. And those are the type of things, and I'm sure you in radio hear about these things that kind of go on behind the scenes. It puts artists in really compromising positions where publicly they have to kind of try to keep a good face on it. But meanwhile, behind the scenes they're getting you-know-what. And I just got sick of that. And I thought, I'm so sick of trying to convince somebody through that system of why I'm a good musician, why my songs are worth listening to. So I thought, I'm just going to go to the people, because I'm going to trust people, because I've always had a good relationship with people. They know I'm a little crazy, but they know where my heart is. And the response has been so positive and overwhelming. And some people take it as an anti-business thing. It's not anti-business. I actually want to stay in business. I want the Smashing Pumpkins to continue on for another 20 years. And the way things were right now, I just had to figure out how to do it. And, luckily, stations like your station have been really supportive of what I'm doing. They're starting to realize that the labels don't run the show anymore. The artists really run the show. They always have, they just don't know that. And as more artists wake up, it doesn't have to be anti-label, it just has to be pro-artist. And when artists have to compromise their musical vision, when they're so blessed by God with these great gifts, and some of the people playing today are so blessed, when they have to compromise some part of that gift because of some jerk in an office somewhere, that's just the most disgraceful thing in the world.
Yeah, and you're one of the bands, along with Radiohead did it. They put out an album in a non-traditional format. 9 Inch Nails did it. I think you guys that are kind of rock godfathers, I guess. You've been in the game for a little while, You're the one, it's good that you guys are the ones that are out there pushing the envelope and inventing new ways to put music out.
Well, as I like to say, that's why I'm an alternative rock musician. I'm not a pop musician, although I've had pop moments, but I'm here to really make sure that future generations will have really good opportunities. I've been lucky in that I've gotten to work with Tony Iommi and Rick Ocasek and these great musicians, and I heard their stories of what they had to go through. Those guys paved the way. GNR, Ozzy, all these great artists paved the way for the kind of success that we had in the 90s, and it's incumbent on us to try to pave the way for the success of the future generations. I want to make sure that the kids that are coming up now don't go through what we went through, because it actually had a lot to do with the destruction of my band too. And that's just, again, that's just disgusting.
Yeah, and one of the much talked about collaborations and kind of in the pop world earlier this year was you're working with Jessica Simpson. And how was that working with her?
Well, she was doing a theme song for her TV show, The Price of Beauty, I think it's called. And she had this song, and she asked me what I thought. And I said, that's a good song, and she said, well, what would you do? And so next thing you know, I got involved in sort of tweaking the song out, and I thought it turned out pretty good. She's actually, surprisingly, I know she's sort of seen in the pop world, but she could very easily front a rock, and she actually has a really good rock voice.
And Slash works with Fergie, and says the same thing about her. She's got an amazing rock voice. What surprised you about working with Jessica?
Just a great singer. I mean, the pop world, they kind of get in all that,
yeah.
You know what I mean? The hands, the Mariah Carey hand. Right. Or no, it's Celine Dion hand, sorry, she did it first. What you really realize in a lot of cases is when you meet people who are successful, it's because they're really talented. You get your own impression through the public sphere, but you realize that's really, at the end of the day, it has to do with talent. And, people like that are just very talented.
Talking with Billy Corgan, of course, the Smashing Pumpkins. You guys headliner tonight, main stage on the Sunset Strip at 7:30. You're big on Twitter. How do you think some of these newer things for bands coming up, and even for yourself, whether it's new media, Twitter, how are these things beneficial, or do you see them maybe hurting down the line?
I think there's a really thin line between making yourself available to people and sort of killing the reason they like you. When the internet first started really kicking in the mid-90s, we got so excited, like, oh, we can bring our fans into this process, and it actually ended up really backfiring us. We created a whole group of fans that nothing would satisfy them. There wasn't enough information. There wasn't enough pictures. Why aren't you releasing every unreleased track you ever had?
Right.
Give it to me for free. Why do I have to wait? And all this screaming. So I really learned that you just have to you have to take a step back and realize that it's a really dumb world out there, and everything you say will be taken to its dumbest level.
A couple more questions for you. Do you have any advice for new bands coming up? You know, you obviously there was a different time and place when the Smashing Pumpkins got going versus a band coming up right now. What do you have to say to those guys?
If you look at the history of the music business, which is now probably 80 or 90 years going on, the most successful artists of all time are always completely unique artists. Bob Marley, the Beatles, I mean, you can go on and on and on. Ozzy Osbourne, always unique people. So if you really want to succeed, if you're crazy enough to want to succeed, you have to be yourself. And the public will ultimately sort of figure that out. Now, there are people out there who are very good at imitating other people or imitating some version of themselves, but they, generally speaking, don't have long careers. They might have 2 or 4 years, and eventually the public kind of gets bored of their act.
Right.
And they don't know how to, because it's not from them, they don't know how to sort of figure out a new act. If you're yourself, you're always going to sort of turn somebody off because they don't like you, but at least they know it's you. And I found that that's been a really good formula to just stick around. I know I've pissed a lot of people off through the years, but at least they know it's me pissing them off. It's not the imitation of me pissing them off.
Who are some artists right now that are doing that you're listening to, that are different, that are standing out?
Well, I think Muse right now is doing a good job of being themselves. There's a band that we've been playing with on tour called Bad City.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a mixture of shockingly kind of early 90s alternative rock and hair metal. It's a really fresh take on things. There's so many artists, I don't know. They all have names with bear. There's like Grizzly Bear, all the bear bands, that's what I like to say.
What about Jason? What's Jason listening to these days?
What are you listening to? He's actually a very sophisticated music listener.
What's on his iPod?
Smashing Pumpkins rule!
Yeah!
No, but tell him what you actually like to listen to.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Give him a real name.
Just Beatles. Like, I don't really know.
Sounds like the son of a musician.
He is the son of a musician.
Lost my train of thought, all that
Yeah,
talk of ancient bands here. You guys are playing tonight. Oh, I know what I want to ask you. The first time, when did you know as a musician growing up that you wanted to be in music? Whether it was the first time you picked up a guitar, you realized you could sing. What was it that happened to Billy Corgan?
Well, I've told this story a few times, but my father was a fantastic, is still a fantastic musician, very, very talented. And my father was not interested in me playing music at all. And in fact, tried to teach my brother the guitar, which was really offensive to me because my brother wasn't interested in music at all, and I couldn't understand because I was listening to records all day. Any attempt I had at playing music was completely discouraged by my family because somehow they thought I was going to end up like my father. He can figure the rest out there. But anyway, so I went in my friend's basement. I think I was about 14 years old, and he was playing like a Michael Schenker black and white Flying V. Mm-hmm. And there were 2 girls kind of looking up rapturously at him, and I thought, that's what I want to do. Yeah. And that was it. I never looked back.
Girls seem to be a pretty honest answer for what.
Well, I wasn't getting any before I played the guitar. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. My last question for Billy Corgan before I let you get out of here. First piece of music you ever purchased with your own money growing up as a kid?
Believe it or not, I was 5 years old. This is a true story. I was 5 years old, and there was like a street sale in my little block. And my stepmom gave me $1 and said, go buy whatever you want. And there was a guy who had a pile of records, and I flipped through the records and I came across Meet the Beatles, and I didn't know who the Beatles were, and I just looked at that cover and I thought, oh, I'd like to listen to this, quarter, and I bought that record. And I mean, it sent electric shocks through my body. I could not believe what I was listening to. I had no idea that they were the greatest band ever. All I know was that this band, the Beatles, was just blowing my mind at 5 years old. So.
Wow. Billy Corgan, everybody.
Thank you.
Smashing Pumpkins playing tonight on the Sunset Strip, 7:30. We will see you out there. Thanks very much.
Billy, can we get a shot of you with your son?
Sure.
Good job.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
What is that, Ron?
It's actually snow obsidian. You ever use obsidian?
Yeah, is it like, it's not like lava stone, is it?
It's formed from lava, yeah.
It's like a good one. Is it your?
No, it's it absorbs negativity.
Oh,
So when you're having like a day like this, which is stressful, it just kind of keeps you
that's
a
good.
little zened out.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you.